What is up, everybody, and welcome to the inaugural episode of, well, yet another bullshit podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me will be my co-host and will be for the future of, I guess, however long we decide to go. Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
Hey, Jeremy here, and we'll be here at least one episode. Maybe more, at least one, though.
At least one. Today is March the 7th, 2022. And yeah, man, what you been up to this week? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. I had my birthday last week, and I got a copy of Horizon Forbidden West on PS5, so I started that up last night, and it's not bad so far. It's a little slow beginning, but yeah, like not bad.
Well, that's what's up. That's what's up. I played some of the original Horizon, but I don't have a PS5, so I probably won't be playing Forbidden West because, like, I don't even think my PS4 can barely handle anything anymore. So
yeah, just grow wings and fly around your living room when you fire it up.
It definitely sounds like a fucking jet plane. And then also, it's been doing this thing where it tells me that I need to rebuild my database, and it'll do it sometimes like twice a day. And I'm like, what the fuck? So that can't be good.
Where is it? Is it the original model?
It's the white, one of the original white PlayStation 4s. Yeah,
dude, they have some terrible hard drive issues where the hard drives just end up crapping out, and it'll just be like, you need to reformat.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's exactly what it keeps doing. So I told my dad, because basically, like, since I've gotten my PC and I have my PlayStation 3 with custom firmware on it in here and stuff, it's like I kind of just put the PS4 in the living room and let him play it, and he just uses it as a golf machine.
Oh, yeah.
And I told him, I was like, well, we might be able to get a PS4 Pro for decently cheap now that PS5s are out. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. But that thing is probably on its way out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to end up having...
Even the PS4s are insane, though.
Dude, prices for everything these days are insane. Fucking I want a new graphics card, and I might as well sell both my kidneys to try to get one of those.
I even saw an article that was like, oh, forget the graphics card you can't afford and just buy a gaming laptop instead because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
It's like, you can go buy a nice high-end gaming laptop for less than you're paying scalpers for graphics cards nowadays.
What's fucking incredible to me was so my buddy Willie had who is one of my guests, or not guests, is one of my co-hosts on the Steam Machine podcast. He was having issues with his graphics card. It was kind of old. I think it had 2 gigabytes of video RAM. Like, it wasn't a very heavy duty card. So I sent him my old one, which was a Bazooka M something. I don't know. It was a decent card, right? I think it had 6 gigabytes of video memory. Anyway, long story short, when I was going to send it to him, I looked it up how much it sells for. Now, I bought that card. That card came with my PC, and I paid $500 for my PC. Right, maybe $600. That graphics card was selling for about $750.
Jesus.
And I was like, oh, it's definitely not worth that much money. So I looked up the one that I have now, which is a 2060 Super NVIDIA card.
Oh yeah.
And I could sell my card right now for like $1,300 or something. I'm like, that is fucking insane.
It's all these crypto bros that are like, oh, I'm going to build a rig to mine crypto so I can make it into NFTs and sell them for millions of dollars.
Speaking of, did you see the thing where I think it was NVIDIA got, like, hackers got a bunch of their information about, like, stuff that they're working on behind the scenes, and they were like,
I did see that.
Basically, they were like, take your limiters off for crypto mining, or we're going to release all this shit to the public or sell it. I'm like, guys, go fuck yourselves. Why are you ruining PC gaming for me?
That's what I say. If I was NVIDIA, I'd be like, do it. Like, me and a buddy of mine have talked about that with celebrities and, like, nude pictures that people say, oh, give me $100,000, I'm going to release this. Like, dude, if I become a celebrity, I'm just going to take some and put them out on the internet. Who cares? Then it's not a weapon that can be used anymore. Yeah,
it's like, oh, you guys wanted to see this? Well, okay, here. Like, although,
I promise you don't, but I'll show you if you think you want to.
Yeah, right. Or just like do a movie with full frontal, and then
exactly
nobody can. It's like, hey, there you go. It's all out there.
I mean, that's that's essentially what Scarlett Johansson did. She had those people hack her phone or whatever, so she just did that movie, I forget the name of it, where she had a full frontal scene, and that was the end of it.
Oh god, I think it was one of the roasts I was watching recently had Sarah Silverman on it, and there was a movie where Sarah Silverman had done full frontal, and somebody, I think it might have been Seth Rogen, and he was like, I did a movie with Sarah Silverman, and I always pegged her for a Nirvana fan, but after seeing her naked, I see she was a bigger fan of Bush. And I was like, oh, zing. Oh man, so like I haven't really been up to much this week, so like I don't have much to report. I did some yard work. I cut down a bunch of trees, and now I'm trying to figure out what to do with all this wood that I have, because it's
that's always fun.
It's decent wood. I can't think of the names of the trees right now, but I might try to make like a chair or a table or something out of it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we had some we cut down here that were like safety cuts, but they were 150-year-old trees, so they were a good 5-6 foot in diameter. Paid a guy to come out and take them down, and then just a huge pile of wood in the yard, and 3 or 4 people saying, oh, I'm going to come get it, and then never showing up. We finally found somebody to come take it.
Oh man, it starts getting rough when you got like logs like that, because you can't exactly just burn that away. You know what I mean?
You can't burn it away. You can't really even pick it up and move it somewhere. You need equipment to move it, because these things were like 4 or 5 foot long, like I said, 5-6 foot in diameter, just ridiculous size.
Oh yeah, dude, you can cut some fucking timber out of that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man, so the basis of this show is, well, I think what we're going to try to accomplish is literally like, you guys remember Seinfeld, where it was like a show about nothing? Well, this is just a show about bullshitting. It's pretty much the same thing. Like,
yeah, we're trying to accomplish as little as possible in an hour plus of your time.
Yeah, and that will include just riffing on random topics, things that are maybe in the news or not the news, but just word on the street, as they say. But like, we would like people also as well to like write into us and give us topics to talk about. So if you would like to,
absolutely.
What's the word I'm looking for? I guess I'll just use the word add. If you'd like to add to the conversation, then definitely give us an email at, I should have this pulled up, but I restarted my computer and it closed my shit. I want to say it's yet another BS.
I'm not even going to guess at it because I have it closed too. Yeah, but like Dalton said, if you want to suggest a topic, if you need some advice, we're probably going to give you terrible advice, but we will give it. If there's anything that's bugging you and really pissing you off and you want to get it off your chest, shoot us an email.
I've had people in my town tell me that I'm like a combination of Hitch and Good Luck Chuck, because I give really good relationship advice, but like any relationship I'm in, when it ends, the girl usually like finds the person she falls in love with after me. So like it's this weird, I would say, double-edged sword, but really it's like a double dull sword, because neither side is an edge for me. But I can give some decent advice if you'd like some. But yeah,
for $500 I'll date you for 3 months, and then you can go find somebody to fall in love with.
That's not a bad idea. That's a lucrative.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll do a 300. Shit.
There you go. So the email for the podcast is yetanotherBSpod@gmail.com.
Yeah. Yes. I just got it pulled up and all of that. Yeah, that is definitely, if you send an email there, or I know Anchor has some sort of voicemail capability, but I have not. I need to look into how that works, so I will report back on that. But that would be something cool too.
Fired up as soon as we figure it out.
And if that doesn't work, I listen to a podcast called Tadpog. Shout out Tadpog, Tyler and Dave play old games. And I could ask Dave, like, they get phone calls in, and I don't know how exactly he does it. I think he plugs his phone into their board. But I don't have a board, so if there's some way I could figure out how to do it, because it's Google Voice that they use, so maybe I'll ask him how it works. But anything to get some fan interaction, because that's like basically what we're going to thrive on, is talking about things that you guys want to hear. But this week, I believe, sir, you had some topics that you wanted to pitch out for this first episode.
Yeah. So my girlfriend and I were watching MTV's Catfish the other day. And this is something I've always been curious about. How do these people fall for these people that are obviously not who they say they are for years and years? Like one episode, a chick had been dating someone online for like 10 years without ever video chatting with them, ever, I think, talking to them on the phone or anything. Like when I was single, if we weren't video chatting or something within like 3 days, I'm moving on to somebody else, because obviously, like, I just don't get how people go so long without actually verifying this is the person they're talking to.
So I think it ends up being like the people who are on the other end of that are trying to get something out of someone, be it attention, affection, money. So I feel like that they target people who are either like maybe like lonely people, or say it might be a person who like you can look through their Facebook and tell they're not exactly good with the internet, so like you might be able to prey on those types of people, but then it happens to people that you would be like, oh no, you should have known better, so it's this weird thing where I could see how it happens to some people, but there are other people that I feel like it should never happen to, but it does. And I
agree.
I don't know, man.
I remember like the early 2000s. It's like, oh, I can't get my webcam to work and stuff. And like back then, it's understandable a little bit. Technology wasn't where it is now, where literally you have a supercomputer in your pocket that can record you and send it to somebody, sort of what we're doing now. I can see you. I know exactly who you are. Yeah. I don't get how people can say, oh, well, the camera on my phone is broken, so I can't video chat with you. But every picture I send you is oddly posed in Photoshop just so. The photo I just sent you of me sitting on the couch watching TV has been heavily Photoshopped. Yeah, and I just don't get it.
What the fuck? Like, yeah, I wish people would be more, I guess careful is the word. Like, I just wish they'd be like, hey, yeah, if you can't video call, will you, I don't know, take a picture of yourself holding up the number 2? Or, like
exactly.
Something that would possibly be able to show you that this person's real. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a friend of mine who's a chick that we've been friends a long time, and she's she lives in Ohio, so obviously it's been internet only, but like I've video chatted with her. I've heard her say my name. She has sent me videos and things like that. I know she's a real person. Whereas you get these other people who hit you up and you're never really sure, but then like it's like you said at the beginning of this, it's like they don't want to video chat, something's broken. It's like, okay, I understand you don't have a webcam, but your phone has a webcam. Like it has a camera.
Exactly. Or like you get that infamous Twitter message or Facebook message from some chick who literally looks like a supermodel, and she's like, oh, hey Dalton, I saw your pictures and I thought you were really cute. I wanted to get to know you. And it's like, I'm not the worst looking guy in the world, but dude, swimsuit models and shit aren't just sending me messages saying, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, listen, I appreciate what you're trying to do here, bot. You're trying to make me feel good, but it's not gonna work. I like to fuck with those profiles.
Oh, like, so much.
It's so great. Like, they'll message me and I'll be like, oh, really? Like, how much you charge for booty hole pics? And they'll write back and be like, well, actually, you can come to my cam site at this link. And it's like, I'm not clicking your links. Just show me your butthole.
Yep. Show me your butthole to prove you're a person. How do I know you're not a cat who learned to use a laptop? Exactly. Although, if it was a cat, you would probably be more apt to get that butthole picture, because cats love showing you their buttholes. That they do,
dude. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude. Like, I'll mess with them all the time. I'll be like, write my name on a piece of paper and draw a picture of an airplane, and they'd be like, let me work on that later when I get home from work. It's like, no, I want it now. Like, don't worry about your job. You want to talk to me, this is what you got to do.
Yeah, and not only that, like, in that type of situation where somebody's like trying to get you to prove that you're a real person, like how fucking hard would it be to quickly scribble down Jeremy and then draw like the shittiest little airplane ever and take a picture of it? Like, what people are just fucking, I don't know. I guess people are dumb. And that's probably going to be a running theme on this show, is people are dumb.
Probably. But like the catfish thing too, sometimes I wonder if the person maybe knows it's not legit, but they're so invested in it they don't want to admit they were wrong, so they kind of just go with it. Or maybe the whole ideal is more important to them than actually meeting said person. But I don't know, I can't see it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, and it gets sad when you start thinking about like the people who fall for it because they're just uber fucking lonely and somebody's giving them the attention. It's like, then you start to be like, well, whoever's catfishing them is a piece of shit. I mean, any catfish is a piece of shit, but those especially. Like,
yeah, you see that one where the guy's like, oh, I haven't had a date in 10 years, and then this woman who's obviously out of my league messaged me, and we've been talking for 6 months, but she won't video chat with me. And it's like, yeah, dude, like, I feel for you. It sucks that you're in this position, but you got to know better.
Yeah. I mean, unless she's really good at Google, like, I don't know. I was going to say, so she's really good at Googling nice titty pics that all look about the same shape, and she keeps saying, I don't know. Like, I don't know how
she just keeps a stash of this one particular OnlyFans account's pictures. It's like, I'm just going to pretend to be this person.
Yeah. That's probably, holy fuck, that's probably become a lot more prevalent these days because of OnlyFans.
Probably so. Oh, I saw the funniest quote, though. It was like, oh, yeah, OnlyFans taught women what it's like to try to be a rapper and sell albums out of your trunk.
Oh, man. Let me tell you, as a musician, that's just hard. It's fucking hard. It amazes me, and, like, no offense to any of my friends who are listening to this, but it amazes me how, like, I'll put out a new album, and I'll post it on Facebook, and the post might get 2 fucking likes. You know what I mean? And I'm like, God damn, I got, like, 2,000 friends. At least one of you could like it more, you know what I mean? But like, you can't make everybody dig the shit that you do. So
yeah, I've learned that as a small business owner, I've learned you definitely can't please everybody. And it gets to you sometimes, but you have to learn to like put it on the back burner and not really stress about it as much.
Yeah, dude, there have been times that like I released an album and like the first like 2 or 3 weeks, that motherfucker didn't sell one, and I would just be like, I'm done. I'm done. And then I'll get bored and I'll start doing some music and I'll really dig it, and then like a couple albums will sell. So like my last 2 or 3 albums I think sold maybe like 3 or 4 copies a piece. You know what I'm saying? But like I got to the point where I was like, you know what, fuck it, I enjoy doing this. So. I'm just gonna do it. And if people want to go and listen, they can. And in fact, you can listen at nilethenightmare.bandcamp.com. Yeah, plug it in. So one thing that you had written down that I would like to touch on is the minimum wage versus content creation as a job. Now I'm curious, like where you were going with this.
So something I've noticed locally, and I feel like it may be nationwide, a lot of stores around here can't hire people anymore. And I think it's because the explosion of Twitch and YouTube streaming and just YouTube videos and stuff, I feel like everyone's trying to, quote, make it as an influencer versus going and getting an actual job. And I can't say I blame them, because working retail or working in food service for $7 an hour, having people yelling at you and cursing at you like it's your fault Walmart doesn't have the bananas they like in stock. Just, I don't blame them, but like, just an interesting topic I was thinking about is a lot of people seem to be like, I'm going to be a Twitch streamer, I'm going to be a YouTuber, or I'm going to make a podcast, which, hey. I can't say too much about that. But yeah, I've noticed that so many places around here just constantly are trying to hire people, but it's so predatory, because they'll say, oh, we pay up to $24 an hour, and then you go and apply and they say, oh yeah, well the store manager makes $24 an hour, everybody else makes $7.25, and we're only going to give you 12 hours a week unless we need more, and then we're going to tell you have to work and you can't have that extra time off.
So I can give you a legit experience that I had just recently. So it's funny that you brought up the podcast thing because now I'm doing two. And I also have a YouTube channel and I have a Twitch channel, but like I don't know, YouTube I put up there every now and then, and Twitch is a whole nother story. But
or was it you or Mike that got to the point of making money with Twitch and then was like, all right, I'm done doing this?
That was me. I mean I think Mike did it too actually, but like I didn't mean to. It was just I decided to take a week off. And then that became 2 weeks, and that became a month, and that became 2 months, and I just haven't done it. I want to get back into it because now I can make money with it. That's cool. Plus, like it's interesting to have banter with my friends in the chat while I'm sitting there playing whatever. But anyways, so I had a job interview recently at a local grocery store, and when I applied, I asked for full time, and I asked for at least $13 an hour starting, right? Because like I've worked the fucking $7-8 an hour thing, and it's like, dude, I have about
it's not worth your time.
That, and I have about 10 years experience total in customer service between the different grocery stores and stores I've worked in. So I'm like, I'm worth $13 an hour at least. And when I went in for my interview, 3 things that made me there were red flags, and it was pretty much 3 strikes. I figured I wasn't going to get a call, and spoiler, I haven't. So the first one was, she said, all right, so I see that you asked for full-time, but we only have part-time available. I was like, okay. And I said, I can work with that because literally this particular grocery store is less than 5 minutes from my house.
Oh, nice.
So it would have been sweet. But so it was only part-time. Then she said, now you were asking for $13 an hour, but we start everyone here off at 10. Yeah. And I went, okay, again, I can make that work. It's 5 minutes away. Like, gas isn't going to kill me like if I'm driving to Gainesville. And the third one was, and we drug test. And I went, oh. All right, because I'm a stoner. I'm not ashamed to say that. I was gonna say I'm not proud, but I'm also not proud of it either, because it's like I'm not just like, hey, look at me. It's just something I do anyway.
You're not wearing like 420 t-shirts in public and stuff like that. Like
no. But if I look over and see that it's 420, I might puff my bowl just because. But it's just one of those things. But there's ways around that. But I figured that I'm 30. I'm 30. I want full time, and I want more money than they're offering. I figured, she said that she had 4 or 5 other people to interview, and she would give the calls once she made a decision. I was like, if any of those people are fresh out of high school and wanting part time, and they want minimum wage, they're gonna get the job over me.
Yep.
Because they're moldable, quote unquote.
Yep. And if they come in expecting $8 an hour, and she says, "Well, we'll pay you 10," they're going to be excited and wanting to do 110% so they can keep that $10 an hour job. Exactly. Whereas I'm like gonna be like, all right, well, I've been here 6 months, can I make $11 now, instead of being like, yo, I can't believe I make $10 an hour, that's fucking fantastic. Yep. It's dude, I left a job when I left I was making $30 an hour. Like, I can't go back to $10 an hour. If I was to close my business, like, I just can't do it. I'm too spoiled now.
I don't blame you, dude. I don't blame you. I wish I could come up there and work with your ass in the fucking game store. That would be badass. I applied to GameStop in Palatka and then never heard anything. And I was like, God damn it, I bet I know more about video games than anybody in Palatka. Oh, yeah. Not that you guys, none of the listeners know Palatka, but just trust me, I probably know more about video games than anyone that lives in Palatka. The one thing that came out of Palatka that I can know of that's worth a shit is Michelle McCool, and she was a WWE superstar who's now married to The Undertaker. And that's it. She was a high school teacher who's now married to The Undertaker. And that's a step up for sure. Every now and then, and I mean, it's a very rare occasion that I hear about this. If you go to the 24-hour Walmart at about 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, you might see a big, tall motherfucking Undertaker walking around because they're there visiting family. You know what I mean? Nice. But he does his shopping when there's like nobody in there. But I had a buddy of mine's dad who worked there, and one day he called my buddy while I was over there hanging out, and he's like, you'll never believe this, but Undertaker's here. We were like, oh, that's cool. Like, we have no way to get there, but that's cool.
So that brings up an interesting topic for me. You're in Walmart and you see Undertaker walking around. Are you going to run up to him and fanboy and ask for pictures and stuff? Or are you just going to say, oh, that's cool, and walk off?
I would probably say that's cool and walk off, because I'm very much like I don't want to bug people kind of guy. But also, like, if me and him were walking down the same aisle, you know, I might be like, excuse me, sir, you know, I love your work. Thank you for all that you've done. And leave it at that. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, even though inside I'm going to absolutely be doing that. Like, I'm
I
like
100% agree.
Especially Undertaker, like, personally, because I'm a huge WWE fan, like, all the way back to when I was a kid. So if I like went up and like met Undertaker, like when I left the store, I'd probably cry a little bit, just a little bit. It's like, just tears of like, holy shit, I can't believe that just happened. But like,
I'm gonna be telling everybody I know, like, oh, I saw the Undertaker walk. But yeah, my rule has always been, these people are still normal people when they're not doing their job. Yep. Like, I don't like people I know coming up to me in Walmart and wanting to talk to me. I can't imagine people I don't know coming and taking pictures and just like following me around the store. It seems like it would be a nightmare.
I can't tell you how many times.
Speaking of meeting wrestlers, I have a fun Mick Foley story. But go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I can't tell you how many times I've gone to like leave the house and just be like, fuck, I hope I don't see anybody I know. And it's always when I say that I see somebody I know.
Yep. And they want to chit chat.
You have to stand there and have that stupid little chit chat where there's really nothing of substance to say, and it's like,
oh, what you been doing, Dalton? You mean in the 15 years since I last saw you? A lot. Yeah. I've beat off probably 1,000 times since the last time I saw you. That was a good way to end the conversation right there. Yeah, minimum. Exactly. That's fucking rookie numbers, I'm sure. Like, your sister's Katie, right? Oh man, I used to jack into her Facebook photos. Bam, they're just done talking to you in that Walmart.
Right, and now you're the weird guy on Facebook, but that's okay because more people will leave you alone.
Exactly. Like, it's like, oh look, 20 people defriended me. Sweet. I'm working towards my goal of just being me.
Right. I share this shit for my own pleasure. I'm my only friend. I made an extra account so I can like my posts. So let me hear this Mick Foley story.
So I met Mick Foley. It's been years and years and years ago. He did a little comic book convention up here, and he had done some wrestling promo event the night before. So I'm waiting in line. I come up, pay him for a picture, autograph and all, shake his hand, get down, take a picture, get the autograph and stuff, tell him, how much I loved his work, how he was a hero of mine growing up. Go to leave, went to shake his hand again. He literally reached out to shake my hand. Halfway to my hand stops, goes, I already shook your hand, and pulled his hand back. And I was like, wow, what a dick move. Like, you're already halfway to a handshake. You couldn't have just followed through with it. Like, he's like, no, like, I have a quota on handshakes for today. I can't be giving 2 out to the same person. And I'm honestly, like, this dude was a hero of mine. And that just brought it down so much to me. And like, Mick Foley, if you listen to this podcast, sorry, but you know what you did. Like, I want that second handshake.
I will say that,
it just,
some of those situations are weird because it's the promoters that are very like, they don't want you to give 2 handshakes because then everybody's going to want 2 handshakes, and it's like the escalating thing like that. But in that situation where like you're already reaching for it again, yeah, it's kind of weird.
And like, you stop halfway through and you're like, no, you already got your handshake. Get out of here, peasant.
I have a story like that, but it wasn't with a wrestler. It was with a musician, and he didn't pull a dick move. He actually did one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So like most musicians I've used to meeting, like, they're behind a table, you go up, you shake their hand, you get the signature, you get the picture, you move on, right? So this concert I was at was who played? I think Septic Flesh opened, then Obscura played, then Devin Townsend, and then Children of Bodom. And actually, I think about it, there was a band that played before Septic Flesh, but I cannot remember their name. Obviously, they didn't leave a lasting impact on me. But when I went to go meet Devin Townsend, we're all standing by the merch table that he's got set up and stuff, and we're kind of up front, and he comes out and he walks up to his table and he pulls the chair out and he goes to sit down and he looks at us and he goes, "No, fuck this table," and he like just grabs his pen and just walks out into the crowd and is just standing there. And I walked up and shook his hand. I had him sign my wallet, which I don't know where that wallet is anymore, and that makes me very sad. But I'll never forget, I'm standing there and I told him, I said, "Dude, I play your song Deadhead on guitar all the time. It's my favorite riff." He goes, "Hey man, that's one of my favorite riffs I've ever written. That makes me very happy to hear." And I'm sure like, he's probably said that to a million people, but like I hear from behind me, somebody just goes, "Devin, let me rub that bald fucking head of yours." And he goes, "Go ahead, man." So this guy comes up and is just rubbing his head while my buddy Caleb just walks up to him and goes, "Sir, you're a god." Devin Townsend looked at me and he goes, "Dude, you're a god." And it was just this cool little interaction. Like,
nice. He's
the only musician I've ever seen just say like "fuck the table" and walk out. And I've seen wrestlers and stuff do that, especially when I was working Fest Wrestling in Gainesville. I used to be on the ring crew until like my back of my knee started fucking up and I didn't want to get hurt working on the ring crew, and then them, so but it was a lot of fun. I met a lot of the indie wrestlers that people hear about now. Like I have a picture with Leo Rush. I was holding his CZW championship, and that was before he joined WWE. Nice. Who's the girl? Oh man, I know her as Heidi Lovelace. What does she wrestle as WWE? Ruby Riott.
Yeah, I've heard the name. I don't watch too much of modern stuff. I hate Vince McMahon at this point. So, I watched a little bit of AEW, but it's just I just couldn't get back into it to where I wanted to watch it all the time.
No, I get it, man, and I have my thoughts on AEW. I'm sure we'll get into that sometime and piss some people off, but and it's not, and believe me, like for every negative thing that I say about AEW, I also have negative things to say about WWE. So don't get me wrong. Like I appreciate them both, and I believe that competition breeds good television when it comes to wrestling. So I'm glad that they both exist. But
and now we're gonna get two negative comments. Somebody's gonna say, "How dare you speak bad of Vince McMahon?" And then somebody's gonna tell you to fuck off for hating AEW.
and it's not even that I hate AEW. It's just like there are things that I wish they would do better. And they have some wrestlers that I can't take seriously. Like I know everybody loves the Young Bucks, but like to me, they're all right. Like to me, like I haven't seen them put on anything interesting since they joined AEW. Like all of their interesting shit was in Ring of Honor 10 years ago. No offense to them, although I'm sure what the fuck do I know? I'm a fat guy that doesn't wrestle.
Yeah, they're gonna come down and give you like a 2-man DDT.
Yeah, they're gonna give
How dare you talk badly about our show?
The Meltzer driver. Oh Lord.
But yeah, I love when you meet genuine good celebrities. Like I met Orlando Jones at a local show. Like super talented actor. He's been in The Replacements. Evolution was one of my favorite movies. And he was at a table, but it was a comic book convention. Kevin Eastman was at it. So everyone ran in the building and went straight to Kevin Eastman. So I went over to see Buster Douglas and Orlando Jones because nobody went over there. Me and my buddy stood there for like 20 minutes having a conversation with Orlando Jones. He's absolute just character to be around. He's telling us all these Hollywood stories and stuff, and just a genuinely cool guy. Versus, like you said, so many people that do these shows, well, you'll hand them something, they'll sign it, hand it back to you, and shuffle you along so they can get through the line. Which I did Kevin Eastman as well at that show. I had the 3 original Nintendo Turtles games in the box, so I took them all and had him sign them all. And he talked to me about 10 minutes about those. And like talking about the art on them and all of that stuff. I thought that was cool. And that's the kind of stuff like I won't ever sell those if I don't have to, because I have a story and a memory attached to them that's pleasant. Yeah,
exactly. That's like, I know listeners can't see this, but when I won this Jägermeister guitar, you know what I mean? That thing, I looked up what people sell that for, like other people that won that guitar. And I'm like, you motherfuckers would sell that for that cheap? Like, to me, this guitar is worth, like, if you wanted to buy it from me, this guitar would cost you a couple $1,000s. You could easily go get you a much better guitar than this one for that kind of money. Yep. But the fact that I won that motherfucker in a shred contest, and the whole crowd chanted my name, which was the coolest fucking thing ever, by the way.
Nice.
And when I got done and I'm backstage, the guitar tech from, I know everybody gives them shit, but the guitar tech from Five Finger Death Punch comes up, hands me the guitar, and it's like, here you go, man, I just got it done setting up, it's all ready to go. So I'm holding this box with this guitar that I just won. I'm standing next to like the monster, no, I'm sorry, it was the Rockstar girls and like the Hooters, the big, you know what I'm saying, the hot model chicks, and they're like taking a picture with the guitar winner and all of that. I get a tap on my shoulder, and I turn around, and it is Rob motherfucking Zombie.
Nice.
And at this point, like in my head, I am immediately going into Wayne's World, like, oh, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. And he's standing there, and he's got some dude with him. I don't know who the dude that was with him. He's probably somebody who works backstage. And he goes, hey, man, I just caught I caught you winning the contest. He goes, you're a hell of a guitar player. You stick with it, man. I'd like to see you out here on tour with us sometime.
Nice.
And I could have died right then. You know what I mean? Like, I could have just dropped dead, and I'd have been perfectly happy. So the kicker to this whole story is when she did the judging of who played best, I thought the guy before me was going to win because he ripped out like this cool little tap solo thing, and I just played a solo. I just played a solo that I had written for one of my own songs. So like I played my own shit. Like the first guy played Master of Puppets, the next guy played some Weedly shit. Tried to play Behind His Head, wasn't very good. But the dude next to me, like I said, played some really cool shit. So it was, and rest in peace, Jill Janis. It was Jill Janis from The Huntress doing the judging. So she holds her hand over the first guy, and I start hearing Dalton, and it starts, and she holds her hand over the next guy, and it just starts spreading. Nice. And she holds her hand over the third guy, and by this time the entire crowd is chanting. I'm getting goosebumps telling this story. The entire crowd is chanting my name, and I was just like in this state of euphoria to the point that when she held her hand over my head, I don't know what came over me. Like my stage presence came up, because like when I was playing guitar, I like put my foot up on the monitor and like was really like kicking around. But I did my sweep pick. I did it with one hand and threw the horns up with the other hand. Like I was totally in stage mode, right? So when she puts her hand over me, I just threw my arms up like Randy Orton almost, and the crowd just, and it was the coolest fucking thing. And so after the contest is over, I meet Rob Zombie. I'm walking around carrying this guitar. I'm looking for my friends because I go to our seat and they're not there. And I'm like, well, where are they? So I'm walking around. I can't find them anywhere. All of a sudden I see my buddy Josh, and he goes, hey, Dalton, we've been looking. Oh, you fucking won? And I went, well, what do you mean? He goes, oh, dude. He goes, we were watching Machine Head. We thought you were coming on after Machine Head. I was like, no, motherfucker. The contest was on the main stage, not the side stage. My friends weren't even the ones that started that chant. I thought they were the ones that started the chant. So I was like,
it was your mom. She was in the crowd. She was like, cheer for my son.
She didn't tell me she was Dalton. And the worst thing about the whole thing, though, is there used to be a YouTube video of it. And I figured it would always be on YouTube, so I never downloaded it. And Jaeger deleted all the contest videos.
Oh, man.
So
I wonder if you reach out to them if they still have it.
Well, I could tell you that my loving grandparents and my mom have both done that. Like tried to reach out to Jaeger and see, because they were like bummed out that it was gone, and they knew it bummed me out. And no, it never came to be. But that's cool. I have the guitar and I have the memories.
Your mom calls Jaeger. It's like, I paid all this money for this ticket to get in here and get him to win, and now you delete the video? Oh, man. I'm never drinking Jaeger again.
The best part was I was too nervous to go up and try out, and my buddy Caleb literally just started prodding me in the ribs with a water bottle, and he wouldn't stop until I went over and tested out, because it was literally this fucking tent set up, and it was a dude sitting there with a guitar, and it said, can you play guitar? Come prove it.
Oh, nice.
So, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. And they were like, no, mother, you absolutely are going to go do that. Go fucking do it. And I won. So that was cool.
I mean, what I've heard of you play, you are really talented on guitar.
Well, thank you. I have fun playing. Like, I just really wish I need to get better at editing. You know, because a lot of the music that I release now is all sample based. Like I get samples and put them together like in a program that I have and just make it sound pretty. Whereas I've been working on recording more like metal and rock and stuff like that. It's just I need to learn how to do the processing, compression, all the shit that makes it sound like CD quality. I need to learn how to do that.
Oh yeah.
I'll get there though. I'll get there.
I know something I was thinking about when we were talking about the celebrities. I hate celebrities who charge an unreasonable amount of money for autographs or cameos or stuff like that. Like, you have so much money. And, for instance, my 7-year-old loves JoJo Siwa. It's his favorite person in the world. She was briefly on Cameo, but it was $350 to get her to do like a 30-second video. And I'm
Jesus
like,
Christ.
You have so much money. Why is it this expensive? And I get, like, if she does it for $20, she's going to get 1 million requests. But still, like, and like when you go to cons and stuff and these celebrities, like, oh, it's $150 for an autograph. It's like, come on, dude. Like, you made $50 million doing the last Avengers movie, Anthony Mackie. Like, you can't hook me up with a signed 8x10 for $20 or something reasonable.
Yeah, I have 2 examples of that I'd like to point out. One is going back to wrestlers. So when we worked at Fest, my buddy Ryan, who's actually a referee now in Northeast, up in like the New York and like that tri-state area. So good for, I'm proud of him. Nice. But anyway, when we used to work Fest, like these big indie wrestlers would come in, like Effie. Obviously I know you said you don't keep up with the new products. So like there's this wrestler named Effie who's a big indie star who every time he would walk in, he'd be like, D, come give me a fucking hug. Where's Ryan? He loved us. And all these different guys that would come in and be awesome. You could ask them, be like, go up to them and be like, hey, can I get a picture with you? They'd be like, fuck yeah. And they'd pose because it's exposure for them. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
The one wrestler who didn't was Joey Ryan. And if you don't know Joey Ryan, he's the one who does the dick flip where people grab his dick and then he flexes and they act like it hurts them. Okay, so it's that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan went up to him. I had just got done taking pictures with the dude from CZW, Leo Rush. I asked him, I'm like, hey man, do I need to pay you for a picture or anything? He's like, no, motherfucker, come over here and take a picture with me. So like, he's like, you want to hold the belt? And I was like, sure. By the way, wrestling belts way fucking heavier than they look. Way heavier than they look. But anyway, Ryan goes up to Joey Ryan and says, hey man, can I take a picture with you? And he goes, $20.
Wow.
After we had literally just taken a bunch of pictures with wrestlers, like while Joey Ryan was within view of us doing that, you know what I mean? And he says no, and we're like, okay. So we walk away and we go over to this dude named Mr. 450, who's like a big wrestler in like Puerto Rico and Mexico, and we're like, hey man, can we get a picture with you? He's like, yeah. Didn't charge a fucking dime, so we were like, fuck Joey Ryan. And then it came out that he's a big perv anyway, so fuck that guy. But the other one,
what, go ahead.
I was just saying, the other thing I was going to bring up was I saw that Paul McCartney was going on tour. Now, Paul McCartney is a goddamn Beatle. He has made more money than almost anyone will ever make, as far as musicians go. And I don't know if this is his farewell tour or what. I don't really know. But I just know that the cheap seats for the local show here at I think it was in Orlando. The cheap seats were $150.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Up by the stage, $575. I was like, dude. Yep. Paul McCartney.
Well, that's like
he could
Rage Against the Machine went on tour 2 years ago, and the cheapest tickets were like $300 a piece. And it's like, what machine are you raging against now? Because you seem to be part of it at this point. Apparently,
Rage Against the IRS or something. Maybe they need to get some bills they need to pay. That's like, dude, and even Rage Against the Machine. Oh, maybe them not so much, but Paul McCartney. Dude, he could charge $20 a ticket and it would cost him some money and it wouldn't put a fucking dent in his bank account.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And everybody who ever wanted to see one of the remaining Beatles could go and see him and have a good time. But no, it's all about that fucking almighty dollar, capitalism. Yay.
Yeah, if you don't believe Paul McCartney makes a ton of money, Ringo Starr went out like last year and told people to stop sending him fan mail because he had so much he couldn't get through it. Paul McCartney is still making money even sitting at home doing nothing.
Right.
Like, that dude will always make money. His children will make money off his name. Like, it will never stop.
Oh yeah, dude, the McCartney legacy is going to be set for a long time if they're smart about it.
But yeah, like the Orlando Jones thing, I think he charged $25 for an autograph. I'm like, that's perfectly reasonable. I don't expect it for free, but like $200, $150, $100 for an autograph is ridiculous to me. You print out these 8x10s at like Shutterfly for 3 cents a piece or something like that. Like, it's not like it's costing you money to do it, because a lot of these places, these guys have guarantees. I don't know if you've ever done conventions before.
No.
Basically, when you bring this person in, they say, all right, you pay for my flight, you pay for my hotel. I have to make at least, usually it's like 10 grand. It's like, if I don't make 10 grand to your show, you're on the hook for whatever I don't make. So they're guaranteed like 10 grand. Woo. So sometimes the show promoter will say, all right, charge $50 an autograph, because, you know, that's the only way you're going to make this much money. But like some of them, like if I was super famous, if I got cast in a Marvel movie and I'm, you know, the next human blob or something.
Condiment man, give yourself some respect.
Yeah. Like, and I signed this deal for $20 million. Dude, I have friends that own comic book stores. I'm going to go to every single one of those comic book stores for free and sign autographs for people just to help my friends out, because I understand what it's like running a small business. Like, dude, that's a huge thing.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And it's like, you know, also, I can understand, you know, charging like $50 is probably the most I would pay for, like, you know, you get a signed autograph and a picture, and you know, I know handshakes are a little out the window right now, but you know, an autograph and an
elbow touch or something. But like, yeah, Robert Downey Jr. like elbow bumped me for $50. Like,
yeah, I can get that, but like, yeah, people who charge $100, $150, especially for cameo. Although I will say, some people put in the effort for cameo. Like,
I will say the cameos I've seen friends have gotten and stuff, they go above and beyond a lot of the people.
Yeah, but you do have some of them that are awful.
Oh yeah. I'm not paying $400 for a cameo. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, dude.
A meet and greet is one thing. Like, if I'm taking my kid to a JoJo concert, which his mom just took him like a week ago, I think, and she didn't know they were doing a meet and greet. But like, if you got like $300 for a meet and greet and an autograph, so that's more reasonable, because at least he's getting to meet this person that he adores, shake her hand, hug her, whatever, talk to her for a minute. That's awesome.
Yeah, because that's building more of a memory than just walking up to a table and being like, "Here you go, kid."
Yeah. Or getting a video emailed to you that where, you know, she says your name.
Yeah.
Like, but when I met Orlando Jones, Buster Douglas was there too, and I had a copy of Buster Douglas boxing on Genesis. So I took that and got him to sign that, and I got a picture of him knocking out Mike Tyson. And I mean, it was like $20 an autograph. It's like $40 for 2 autographs. That's okay. I'm fine with that. But I always told my buddies, like, I have the 8x10 frame. And I was like, if I ever have the chance to meet Mike Tyson, I'm going to take that photo with me and see if I can get him to sign it. It's like, either he's going to sign it or he's going to knock my ass out. Either way, I'm going to have a good story to tell from it. Because like, either he's going to think it's funny and he's going to go through with it, or he's going to punch me, one of the two.
I think that you would luck out these days. Like, okay, so like maybe 20 or maybe like 15, 20 years ago, if you'd have done that, I think Mike Tyson would have probably beat the fuck out of you. These days, though, he's a big stoner / like shroom eater. So I think he'd just giggle and be like, "Hey, man, did some funny shit," and just sign it.
Yeah. Either he's going to laugh and think it's funny, or he's just going to have his bodyguard throw me out of the building or something. Like, I don't think he's going to beat me up anymore, but like, I'm not against that. Like, that's a cool story to say, like, oh, why are you missing your front tooth? Oh, try to get Mike Tyson to sign a picture of him getting knocked out, and he knocked me out.
Dude, I don't know why this made me think of that, but I was watching an interview on the Pat McAfee show with Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar told this story about that he was in a bar, and this was like apparently like wasn't too long ago, and Wee Man, of all people, Wee Man like peacocked up to him, like bowed up.
Oh yeah.
And Brock said he picked up Wee Man and just slammed him through a table.
Oh.
He said, and he's like, this wasn't part of a wrestling gimmick, right? This like just happened, as far as I know. And he just picked him up, slammed him through a table, walked over to the bar, threw a bunch of money down, and said, "Here, this will pay for the damages," and then left before cops could show up.
Wow.
I was like, that's amazing.
But like, think of the people in that bar that have that story to tell for the rest of their lives. Like, man, man walked into the bar, puffed up at Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar slammed him through a table, threw some money at the bartender, and ran out the building.
One of the biggest human beings in the world slams one of the smallest human beings in the world.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't imagine, bro. I watched Brock Lesnar on some, I think it's called The Butcher Brothers or something. It popped up in my videos that you might like on YouTube. And this motherfucker had half a pig just tossed over his shoulder, carrying it like it was no business, while the other guy's like hefting the other half of the pig, like, ugh. And Brock's like, oh, we need it here, and just tosses it down like a fucking toilet paper roll. Like, some of those dudes like that are just the big silverback gorilla human beings are just mind-blowing at how strong they can be.
Oh yeah, man, I can't imagine being that strong.
No, dude.
That's always tell me, like, I would love to look like that, and I would do literally anything except work out and eat right. Like, if I could do anything else to look like that, I would go for it. But I'm not about that life.
It's like, dude, I like pizza and cheeseburgers a lot.
Exactly.
A lot.
But I will say, I read an interview in like Men's Fitness from Dave Bautista way back when, and he talked about when he gets urges for something. Like he said, I'll get an urge for like a Little Debbie snack cake. He's like, I'll set a day aside, I'll buy like 4 boxes of them, and I'll just eat them until I get sick. He's like, and then that craving goes away. He's like, in a month or 2 later, if I get it again, I'll do the same thing. He's like, he'll literally gorge himself on whatever he has a taste for until he gets physically sick, and then he won't want it anymore for quite a while.
I know those guys.
I'm like, yeah.
Put away some fucking food.
Yeah, that won't work for me because I could probably eat a whole box of Little Debbie's and it'd be fine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get sick on it.
Yeah, but if you eat 4 of them though, you might be like, oh, this so much sugar.
Yeah, too much oatmeal cream pie.
That's like, oh, cream pies, woohoo. That's like, I follow The Rock on Instagram, and he'll post a picture of his quote-unquote cheat meal, and it'll be like two big old bacon cheeseburgers with a pile of fries and then a big old glass of tequila. And I'm like, oh, yeah. God, that looks like a normal meal for me. I really should check my priorities.
Well, dude, like, something I learned, because back in 2018, I started working out like 6 days a week. I was eating, not healthier, but I was eating more appropriate portions and at appropriate times. I lost like 60 pounds. Like, I put on a little bit of muscle mass, not too much because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. But I learned, like, if I had a day where I just ate like a pig, it didn't affect me as much because my metabolism and stuff had changed. My body wasn't storing that crap like it normally does. So, like, yeah, if you get in that habit, but it's so hard to get in that habit of, I'm going to eat like I'm supposed to. I'm going to go to the gym every single day. And like once I'm at the gym, I'm fine. But it's like actually getting there is the hard part. Because there's so many other things I could go do.
Yeah, that's why I keep some dumbbells right here by my computer. So like when I'm sitting in a queue on an MMO, or if I'm like waiting for a game to load or whatever, I'll sit there and I'll do a couple sets. You know what I mean? And just try to at least do something. I'll get up and do some squats, but I don't ever go to the gym. With was like
that. He was always super into bodybuilding and lifting and stuff. So he like brought dumbbells to the factory we worked at. When we had downtime, we'd go back there and just bust out some curls on them. And like you said, it's good to do that, but it's just hard to stay consistent with it.
Yep. Yeah, because it's real easy to look at them and be like, I'll do it the next time, and then it's like I said with Twitch at the beginning of the podcast. It's like you stop doing it, and then it's a week, and then it's 2 weeks, then it's a month.
It's like I'm just going to take a break today, and that day turns into a year and a half.
Well, sir, we're approaching an hour, so I would like to do some questions that we got asked from some of our, I'll say fans, but really it's just like some people that we know that asked us questions. Some
people we know, yes.
Some friends. Well, I'll say that they're friends. So Hazel had 2 questions for us. One was, why were cartoons so obsessed with quicksand and making it seem like it would be a prevalent issue in life?
Yeah, that makes no sense to me as an adult, but I remember being absolutely terrified of quicksand as a kid. Like, I was just going to be walking through the yard and just sink into a pile of sand and be gone forever.
Yeah, honestly, like I really did. Like there were times that I'd have nightmares about Quicksand and things like that, and it's like I'm sure it really exists, but it's nowhere near here.
That's not what is that just like a Hollywood propaganda machine? Like I don't get it. I don't know if it even really exists.
I mean, really, what they should put in cartoons more than Quicksand are sinkholes. Because that shit'll just randomly happen. There's no fucking avoiding it.
It's scary too. Like you're just driving down the road and then bam, your car is underground.
Yeah, or you're sitting in your house and then bam, your backyard is now a crater. Congratulations. Like
yeah. You're like, where's the dog? And you just hear a faint bark from in the hole. You're like, oh, now we got to get a rescue team out here and the news is going to come.
Oh my God, bro, I would be a blubbering fucking wreck if I heard my dog barking from the bottom of a hole like that. I'd be like, no. Oh,
dude,
God.
like my dog, he wouldn't even be hurt. He would just be down there having the time of his life because he's like a sack of bricks, basically.
I was gonna say, your
my dog, he's insane.
He would just headbutt his way out.
Yeah. He's certainly not going to jump out because jumping's not a good thing for him.
But yeah, man, Quicksand was always a very like. Just I don't know. It was always in cartoons, and I just don't understand why. And it's something that I think has kind of gone away, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't watch cartoons all that much now.
My kid watches a lot, and I'm trying to think of like I don't think that's been an issue in cartoon. Like the stuff he watches is now. I kind of agree with it because it deals with more real life problems kids have, like getting picked on in school and stuff like that. Whereas, like you said, when we were kids, it was like, oh, yeah, this person's out in the middle of a jungle I'll never visit and slowly sinking into quicksand.
Yeah.
And it's like, for some reason, I live in the middle of the U.S., but I'm worried that I'm going to fall into a vat of quicksand and die.
Yeah, Hazel was from England, and she said that she always thought it would be a massive issue for her living in the middle of England, but it never was.
Yeah.
And her other question for us was our opinions on some gatekeeping fandoms and that have put you off from that fandom.
Dude, I hate gatekeeping so much. Like,
me too.
I've never understood it. I don't know if it's people like they're like, well, this is mine and it's important and special to me. You shouldn't be allowed to share in it. But like, dude, video games, for instance. If I love a video game, I tell everybody I know, hey, you need to play this video game. It's amazing. Because if everybody I know goes out and buys a copy and then everybody they know goes out and buys a copy, that game's going to do well and they're going to make a sequel to it and I'm going to get to enjoy more of it. Whereas if I say, oh, The Last of Us Part 2 was amazing, but I don't think anybody else should play it except me because they're not going to have the same opinion of it as me. Like, I mean, you know, in our friends group, there's a few of us that have vastly different opinions about certain video games.
Yeah.
I don't care what other people think of something. I don't care what critics think of it. I enjoyed, like, I didn't think the Green Lantern movie was that bad. Like, it's not a great movie, but it's not that bad. But I also don't care what other people think about the things I like.
Yeah.
I form my own opinion about it. But if other people are like, hey, I was thinking about playing The Last of Us, what do you think of it? I'm like, oh, it's amazing. You should definitely play it.
Oh, that's funny because I've never played The Last of Us, but always meant to. So I will take your word. Now maybe I'll give it a shot.
You should. It is absolutely amazing. The first game is shorter, but it's just going the whole time. It's rare to find something that's zombie related in video games that's not constantly there's a zombie around every corner waiting to grab you. Like, there's huge parts of those games where you don't even deal with zombies. You're just dealing with, like, the emotional story of these two people. You're dealing with, you know, how a little girl, I think she's like 11 in the first game, how she's dealing with this. Like, everybody she knew and loved is dead. Like, she's met up with this stranger who's taking care of her. Like, oh, dude, it's such a good... Like, it's literally has become my favorite franchise of video gaming, and I didn't even play it until, like, early 2020, I think, because I was never a PlayStation person. The first new PlayStation I bought was the Spider-Man PS4 Pro because I wanted to play Spider-Man. And, like, I had a copy of The Last of Us at my video game store, and I was like, man, a lot of people talk good about this game. Maybe I should try it out. So I popped it in my PS4 and started playing it, and I couldn't get enough of it. Like, if they screw up that HBO show, I might have to, like, go riot somewhere. Like, I'll have to break some windows or something.
I'm going to write him a strongly worded email.
I'm going to call Pedro Pascal's personal cell phone and be like, I can't believe you did this. Give me $20 in recompense.
Yeah, some of the gatekeeping communities that I've noticed, like especially in the gaming communities, are like the Souls games. You know, where it's like, oh well, you know, you probably couldn't handle a Souls game because they're so, you know, they're another level, they're so hard and stuff. And it's I get that they're hard and everything, but like, do you have to be such a dickhead about it? Like, and
that's my thing.
I was gonna say, we know some people who are not like that about those games. They're very much, please play these. They're great. You know what I mean? Which is nice. Yep. But the internet, man.
Like, I've never liked the Souls games. I've never had any interest in them. I've tried a couple of them, but I don't like games that use difficulty as, like, I'm trying to think of the right word. It's like part of the charm of our game is that it's so difficult you can't beat it. Yeah. And I don't like that. I don't like fighting the same boss 50 times in a row. Most of the games I love are very story, narrative-driven games. And I want to get that story. I want to basically have an interactive 15-hour movie I get to watch. Yeah. And I know a lot of people say, I don't like that. I want more of a traditional video game. And hey, to each their own. But I don't shit on Souls games either, because they're not bad games. They're just not for me. Yeah. And that's something I've noticed too. I don't know if it counts as gatekeeping, but I've noticed people say, like, well, I don't like this game, so that makes it a shitty game. It's like, no, not at all. I'm not a fan of Lord of the Rings, but that doesn't mean the movies suck. It's like, I just don't enjoy them personally, but there's plenty of people who do. Yeah.
Well, that's like, I don't like Fortnite in the slightest, but I respect what it's done as a video game, because goddamn, you can't say it's not successful, you know what I mean? For the longest time, I didn't care for Minecraft. I mean, I'll play it now, but like, I always respected it for, like, Jesus, that game is done super well. Oh yeah. You know, and people are just very fucking strange, man. Like, you know, going back to the Souls games and stuff being hard, like, I'm sure, like, Souls fans, if they knew that I like to play those games with God mode on so I can enjoy the scenery and the story and stuff, they'd shit their pants. But, like, that's just the way I like to play them.
The artistic vision of the game developers is the term I've heard.
Yeah, the artistic vision. Well, my artistic vision is to play it how I want.
But I also don't agree with, like, journalists who say, oh, Souls games should have an easy mode because I want to play it, but I can't beat it. It's like, if you can't beat it, but you want to enjoy the scenery or whatever, watch YouTube playthroughs or... Yep. Something like Mega Man games. I've never been good at Mega Man games. And so I haven't experienced most of them because I'm like, I'm not going to spend $60 on a Mega Man game and, you know, fight the first boss 100 times and get frustrated and give up. But I can go watch somebody play it on Twitch or on a YouTube Let's Play or something, and I can see what it's about without having to sit there and frustrate myself trying to play through this game.
Dude, speaking of Mega Man, my first ever Mega Man game that I owned on PS1 was Mega Man 8, right? So that's my favorite one. I love Mega Man 8, and any time I bring that up to a Mega Man fan, they're like, oh, it's the fucking worst one. Every time. And I'm like, well, I really enjoy it. I don't know what to tell you. Like, sorry, I don't like Mega Man 3 more. Like, I don't know, I don't know what to tell you. It's always that.
It's like talking to Star Wars fans and telling them I enjoy Episode 8. It's like, I like that movie. I thought it was well written, well directed. Like, there were flaws with it, but there's flaws with every movie. Yeah. It's like, I thought they told a compelling story. And man, so many Star Wars fans were like, you're a fucking idiot. Episode 8 sucks. Ryan Johnson sucks. Rose sucks. I'm like, dude, these are characters in a movie. Just because it's not... for you, the same exact thing every single time. Like, yeah, if you don't like it, just say, I didn't like it. You don't have to tell me that I shouldn't like it because you didn't like it. Yeah, it's like I watched the Phantom Menace the other day because I was wanting to do for the Steam Machine podcast. Eventually on the Patreon over there, I'm going to do like a little watch through. I'm going to talk about Star Wars because one of my best friends is a huge Star Wars fan, and I've always kind of been on the outskirts of it, so I want to really dive in and watch them. So I started with episode 1, and
I remember watching it as a kid, and I think the same thing now that I did back then. I'm like, why did people hate this movie? I don't like. This movie's not bad. Like, I don't understand.
I was in middle school when that movie came out, or like ninth grade in high school, like in that 7th to 9th grade range. And I remember being super pumped for it because I was a Star Wars fan. One of my teachers was a Star Wars fan, so we talked about it all the time. And like, I might have just been at that prime age, but I love that movie. I thought it was amazing. I watched it again like last year, and I think it still holds up as a decent Star Wars movie. I don't have the problem with Jar Jar Binks everybody has.
Me neither.
Like, I just don't get it. But yeah, so many people are like, this movie sucks. And it doesn't, though.
Yeah, and really,
I like... Hot take, I like episode 1 better than I like episode 2 and episode 3. Those movies felt less authentic to me than episode 1 did.
Well, I'll get to those and I will report back on whether I agree or not. But like, the Jar Jar Binks thing, like throughout the whole movie, I was like sitting waiting for him to be super annoying. And then he never really annoyed me. So I was like, were people just butthurt that he wasn't a fucking... Wookiee? Like, I don't understand.
What killed me too is I may be remembering this wrong, but I swear I remember an interview with the actor who voiced him and played him. So he literally almost killed himself because of the hatred he got for playing that part. Like, people blamed him for Jar Jar Binks being in the Star Wars universe. I'm like, dude, it was a decent character. Like, he was a bumbling idiot, but so what? That's the character he was in the story. Like, how's he any different than Luke being a whiny emo brat in the original trilogy? Like, I like Jar Jar almost more than I like original Luke because all he did was whine and cry the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's just like it's that nostalgia thing. You know what I mean? Where it's don't fuck with something that is. That's why like all these games, like the Chrono Cross remaster that's coming out, people are like, "Oh, it doesn't look as good as it could," and I'm like, "Motherfucker, it looks better than it did." Have you gone back and played that game recently? It was a polygon mess. You know what I'm saying? So people are stupid, and the whole gatekeeping thing. Going back to that, I think even beyond gatekeeping, I think there are just some fandoms that it's like it's almost like it's their job to not let people enjoy things. Rick and Morty. Yep. If you don't like Rick and Morty, you're stupid, right? That's what they think. Like, oh no, you have to be smart to enjoy the comedy of Rick and Morty. It's like, really? Because I think that show just grosses me out. I don't want to hear a dude trying not to burp and throw up every 5 seconds. Like, this just fucking grosses me out.
Now, see, like, I love Rick and Morty, but I will agree, I don't like the general fan base of Rick and Morty because it's smart comedy in places, but at the same time, it's adult animation. It's no different than any other adult animation. You're not in a special class of human because you enjoy Rick and Morty. Like, I love South Park. South Park to me is as smart of comedy as Rick and Morty. Like, South Park is very smart comedy sometimes. Yeah. Family Guy has its moments. It's mostly dick and fart jokes, but it has its moments. Like, adult animation is adult animation.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Just because you love Rick and Morty doesn't make you above everyone. Kind of, there's almost a little bit of hint of that in some anime fandoms too. It's like, oh, you watch anime with English dubs. Oh, no, you got to watch it in Japanese with subtitles, or you're not watching it. It's like, no, I don't want to read. I want to watch TV. If I want to read, I'll go pick up a book.
I can understand that totally. Or it's like the ones that are like, oh well, okay, so you're just a fucking weeb because the only thing you like is like Dragon Ball Z and Naruto and things like that. You don't watch Shinmei Kumi Hamanisha 2. I don't. And that's not really a word. And I'm sorry if that offended anybody. But like, you get what I'm saying though.
You don't watch this obscure Japanese cartoon about a high school kid trying to fuck all his classmates. So obviously you don't know anime.
Yeah,
and it's like, no, I enjoy Dragon Ball Z. Even the abridged version was too fucking long. They should have cut a lot more episodes out of it. Attack on Titan was really good, but it got kind of long in the tooth for me personally. I don't want anybody sending me hate mail about Attack on Titan. It's a good show. It just went on too long for me. Death Note was great. I thought Death Note was amazing. Any anime or real life, I'd want to be in a Death Note because I want a notebook I can write people's names down in and they die. Assassination Classroom was amazing. I really like that show, but like I said, I'm not a huge anime nerd. I just see a show and I'm like, oh, there's an alien teaching a high school class how to kill him. That sounds intriguing. Let me check that out. But I'm not going to watch it in Japanese with subtitles. I'm not going to go buy the manga and read that. Like, I'm just going to enjoy it for what it is and move on.
And it's like, also, people are like, oh, well, you watch that? Oh, well, that show's all fan service. You must be a pervert. Yeah, I am. Fuck off. Like, exactly. I'm gonna watch these titties jiggle. Leave me alone. That's just what I'm gonna do.
Dude, like, that's what kills me with like Marvel movies now. Everybody's like, oh yeah, that Marvel movie that came out, that was just fan service. It's like, so what? They're serving the people who are paying them billions of dollars every year to make these movies. Who cares if there's a little bit of fan service in there? Like the new Ghostbusters movie, I'm sure, I haven't seen it. I'm sure it has a bunch of throwbacks to the originals that people our age are going to be like, oh man, that's awesome. That's great. Let people enjoy stuff. Stop trying to trash everything. That seems like the cool thing to do now almost is to just shit on everything. Like everything sucks. It's like, let people enjoy what they want to enjoy.
Yeah, that's the way I feel about it in the end of the day, dude. It's like, does it affect you? Does it affect people you know? Does it affect people you love? If the answer is no to all of those, then shut the fuck up. It doesn't matter.
Yep. If you tell me, hey, Ricky really gets his rocks off giving out candy to school children and luring them into his van, I'm going to be like, hey, Ricky should fuck off. He has a problem. But if you're like, hey, Ricky likes watching Dragon Ball Z in Japanese with subtitles, I'm like, cool, good for Ricky. Glad he has some way to escape the shittiness of real life.
Exactly. It's like, okay, he's not a serial killer. He's just watching like half-naked animated girls.
Exactly.
Well, or even like when it comes down to like, oh, you like horror movies. Oh, that's all violence and killing. You're probably a psychopath. It's no, I just like horror movies.
A buddy of mine owns a comic book store. Recently, he had a dinner thing with Tony Moran, who played Michael Myers in I think one or two of the movies. Some kid reached out that wanted to go to the dinner but couldn't afford it. He's like 14. Oh, his mom reached out. He's like 14, I think. He's autistic, I believe. He dresses like Michael Myers every single day. Some person commented on it and was like, how could you let your kid emulate a serial killer? That's real good parenting. It's like, dude, it's fake. She's not letting her kid go out and stab people to death. He saw a character in a movie he obsessed over. I don't know how much you know about autism. Obsession is a big part of it.
Yeah.
He's not hurting anybody. Let him have his fun. Like,
yeah.
I just don't get why people feel like they need to interject into everything else.
You let your kid dress like Sonic? I can't believe you let him run that fast.
Yeah.
It's like, get the fuck out
of here. You let him fight an evil genius? Like, get out of here.
And, I feel like people just should have better things to worry about than like what other people enjoy. Is like I said, as long as like what they're enjoying is not hurting anybody or is not causing any harm to any animal or child or anything like that. Obviously, any of those type of people need to fucking fuck off. Yeah. But like, just you know what I'm saying? Like, just let people like what they like. Fucking A.
Yep. Especially TV shows, video game. Like, you like a video game, I'm like, man, that game's kind of garbage. But like, if you were obsessed with Goat Simulator, the game is fun, but it's essentially a garbage game. But it is fun. But like, hey, if you're obsessed with it and it's not hurting me, you go for it. Play Goat Simulator for 600 hours. I'm gonna be like, dude, that's awesome, because you're finding enjoyment in life, and it's so hard to do that, especially nowadays. That just let people enjoy what they want to enjoy. Like you said, as long as it's not hurting anybody, go for it.
Yeah. For sure, dude. That's like I've put in like over 800 hours in Skyrim on PC, and people hear that and they go, "Holy fuck, how?" And I'm like, because I like messing with mods, and then I go and explore the world to see what the mods changed, and I like that worldscape. You know what I mean? It's an escape for me to go in there and just play fantasy Dragonborn for a little bit. Whereas I know you really like I believe it was farming simulators that.
Yes,
you really
Farming Simulator 19. I finally I go through phases where I'll play it for a while and I'll get bored with it. I'm kind of getting bored with it now, and I'm at like probably 200 hours. But I mean, it's like you said, it's an escape from my real world where nobody's expecting anything of me. I can just be a virtual farmer, and there's no real objective to it. You're just kind of doing what you want to do. Yeah. And sometimes you don't really want to get involved with some really heavy drawn out story. You just want to jump in for like 30 minutes and do something, and that's a great way to do that.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. I do the same thing with Rune Factory 4, dude. You know, like, that's more of like a Harvest Moon type game with fantasy stuff in it. But, you know, I log on, I go and I water my crops. You know, I go out and I shear some sheep, I fight some monsters. Like, and I don't really... there's no really story to it.
I've never played Stardew Valley, and I've considered picking it up, but I always think, like, one of two things is going to happen. Either I'm going to pick this up, I'm not going to enjoy it, and it's just going to be a waste of my money, or I'm going to pick it up, it's going to become an obsession, and I'm going to play it for 300 hours and never get anything done. Like, one of the two. So I'm like, let me just sort of stay on this path of avoiding it for now, and then eventually somebody will trade it in at my store or something, and I'll be like, all right, let's pop this in and see what it's all about.
I haven't played it in a while, but I've been meaning to go back and check out the multiplayer update now that, like, they did multiplayer for Stardew Valley. I'm like, that sounds pretty cool.
Like, it looks like an interesting game, but I'm like, I can't dive into that hole right now because I don't know how deep it's going to go.
Well, obviously, if you're not going to dive into that hole, then this isn't going to help you at all. But we did a game for the Steam Machine podcast called Graveyard Keeper.
That sounds like something I would like.
It is basically Stardew Valley, but with a lot of cheeky humor, or I shouldn't say, a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor, and you run a graveyard. So, like, you also have to, like, grow crops and take care of animals and stuff, but then you also have to, like, you get dead bodies delivered by a communist a communist donkey. And the donkey starts, like, once you just, like, start making some money, he starts calling you the man, and he starts demanding that you pay him 5 carrots for every body he delivers and stuff. Like, it's just hilarious. But you have to, like, take the body and then go in and pull out, like, the blood and things like that to make it the perfect body to then put into your graveyard, because the better the body, the better the rating for that plot. And it's all kinds of stuff, but it's a really funny game where it takes Stardew Valley, which is very wholesome and has some very wholesome humor, and just darkens it a little bit.
Oh yeah. Like, I wanted to try that the Sakuna game of Rice and Ruin, because it's kind of like Rune Factory from what I understand, where you're farming rice, and it's a very apparently detailed, in-depth rice farming simulator, but there's also another half of the game where you're going out battling monsters and leveling up stuff. And so, like, it sounds interesting, but same thing, like, it's a rabbit hole I just don't know if I want to burrow myself into right now.
Well, I think there was only one more fan question that I can see on this little list, and that was our opinions on people who put stickers on game carts and cases. Now, I think you could give an informed opinion on this.
For anyone listening who doesn't know, I own a retro video game store, and yellow sticker GameStop era was like the bane of my existence, because they put stickers on everything. They would actually, some genius in corporate decided, we're worried about putting stickers on the cases because maybe people will switch the art out, even though the sticker has the name of the game, and when they scan the barcode, it comes up as a game. They're worried people are going to switch the artwork out and get an expensive game for cheap. So they sent out a company-wide email saying, put the stickers on the actual artwork, not on the case. That is the worst thing in the world, because you can get a game that's now worth $200. You could get a Fatal Frame or a Silent Hill, and it's got these GameStop stickers on the artwork of the game. So now it's worth substantially less, because you have to try to get it off and run the risk of peeling a little bit of the cover off too, or you have to leave it there. Either way, you're going to either lose money or you're gambling on cleaning it up, which I will say, for anybody who runs into that issue, hair dryers are great, because you can heat up the glue on it just enough where you can usually get it off, but you still have to go very, very slowly.
I'll have to remember that, because I went on a kick recently of buying physical PC games, So now I have this little nice shelf of PC games. And there's a few of them that have some like fucking big old yellow stickers and shit on them. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
man, I want to get you off, but I don't want to fuck up the box.
Hit it with the hairdryer on high. Just hit it for 4 or 5 seconds. Start to try to peel a corner up. Just like peel a little bit, hit it for a few more seconds, peel a little bit, hit it for a few more seconds. And it'll usually heat that adhesive up just enough to make it pliable, or you can kind of clean it off. But yeah, like another issue to that question, when they put them on the actual labels of cartridge games, sucks because then you also have that label you have to worry about peeling off too. So that just makes a whole nother nightmare. I don't usually mess with stickers that are on the actual label because I don't want to mess up the label on the game. I feel like the sticker being there detracts less than a huge tear in the label.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but yeah, I've had stuff come in where like I had a sealed copy of Contra Hardcore come in the store with a big ass, I don't know if you remember Toys R Us.
Yeah.
Did those huge orange clearance stickers?
Oh yeah, they were like fucking huge.
Right on. Oh yeah, right on the cover of the box. Excuse me. And I wanted to get it off because that's like I think it was $250 game at the time. It's probably worth more now. But like I wanted to get it off, so I'm like, start peeling, but you can't heat it because it had the shrink wrap on it. So if you try to heat it, it's going to affect that shrink wrap. Luckily, the adhesive on those stickers wasn't very good, so I was able to get the corner and like very, very slowly get it off. And like I think I took a picture and put it in one of our Facebook groups we're in of like the sticker next to the box, and I'm like, oh, I almost had a heart attack trying to do this because like one wrong move and you rip that cellophane, and then it's essentially no longer a sealed game. Yeah. Which that's another argument I've had with people about if a game has a tiny tear on the corner, is it no longer sealed? And seal collectors will say, I don't want it with a tear. And I'm like, the game is still in there. It's never been opened.
Yeah, one of the boxes of the Shroud of the Avatar that I have is sealed in cellophane, but at the very bottom it's ripped. So I'm like, oh, well, I guess technically this isn't sealed anymore. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, it would be like, well, that game's never been played. It's still in the rest of the cellophane. I mean, if you could just patch that, you still have a sealed copy, but it's just not pristine and perfect, you know?
Yep. It's something I've noticed too in the store. The sealed market I hate because I got a game in the other day that was in cellophane, flipped it over and looked at the back, and there was a barcode sticker over the barcode. Excuse me, I'm getting over a sinus infection. Barcode sticker over the barcode that says this is a pre-owned product. And I'm like, yeah, somebody literally took it with a sticker that says it's pre-owned and resealed it. So it's like, it's impossible now to know a lot of the times if this stuff is still legitimately sealed or not.
Yeah, and I think it's only going to become harder and harder.
Oh, yeah. And I've had tons of stuff from employees of Ubisoft, because Ubisoft or Red Storm 1 had a branch local to here several years ago. So I know some people who used to do art there and stuff, and they had an employee store where the employees could buy the games for next to nothing, but they didn't have the like retail seals on them. They had a different kind of seal. Like they didn't have the Xbox does like the spine seal on the opening side, so you know it's legitimately sealed. They didn't have stuff like that. Like the PS2 had the one on the top. It wouldn't have that. So you're sitting there like, man, like I know this came from the Ubisoft store, but it's hard to tell a customer that and they believe it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like that would be the like I don't even know how I would put it. It would really like somebody, I could imagine somebody being like, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure that came from a Ubisoft guy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So but I can imagine, like I just wish that in the future, I mean obviously I think everything's going to go digital eventually one day. Hopefully not. I hope not, but you know, that is a very big possibility. But like I just hope that people take their stickers and put them somewhere that is easily removable. Or if there becomes a system where you don't need a sticker, you know what I'm saying? Like, do like the grocery store, put it on the tag. Like, this is
what
clear.
I do with like GameStop, I do with GameStop stickers now. When I buy a used game from GameStop, I immediately peel the stickers and I put them inside the case. So that way, nothing happens to it. Like if I need to return it, I still have the stickers, but they're not going to get glued to the outside of the case 10 years down the road when I go to sell that game or somebody else has it and goes to sell it.
Yeah. That's a smart way to do it. Well,
I personally don't think modern games will be very valuable in the future just because of day one patches and stuff now. Once those servers are gone, that game disc is essentially useless. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
And you got these games that like are too big to fit on a disc, and like companies just don't release multiple disc games anymore. They just put out a patch, and yeah, that'll be fucked eventually.
Yep. Horizon Forbidden West had an 86 gigabyte patch when I downloaded it last night.
God damn, that's huge.
Yeah.
Fucking A. Well, brother, I think about that's about enough bullshit for this week.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. Like Dalton said, if you'd like to reach out to us and suggest topics or ask for advice or just bullshit with us, it is, I want to verify it. I don't have it pulled up anymore.
Oh, I do. It's yet another BSPod at gmail.com.
That's the one. And like I said, we will get that Anchor FM voicemail set up hopefully next week, but we're not very reliable, so it'll happen eventually.
Yeah, you'll get the episode, but whether that's there or not, I don't know. But I will say that we don't have social media at the moment, and we don't have a website, but I'm going to work on those throughout the week. Hopefully I'll get them done this week. If not, I'll get them done by next week. But yeah, we appreciate you guys for tuning in.
Absolutely.
Is there any other last words you'd like to say for this week, my good sir?
Stay frosty.
There you go. Stay frosty, my friends. And as always, take it easy.